So there's only everyone. Who is Nasha? Let's have some Nasha answer this. Nasha, don't want some of hotels wrong. I'm not supposed to. Come inside. Inside. Team. We see blue and white. Are you Chelsea fan? Chile. Oh, you're a Chelsea Premier League. Okay, we want you in the Champions League. Which are the elections? Can't just zip foot. Can I zip? Can I yamamju? Let's try and get more on it. Just waiting for a few more. Is everybody in? I think that's Let me start by thanking you, members of the press, for gracing us with this opportunity. We come here today, obviously with a mandate, and our mandate is to renew our city. For the past 17, if not more years, our city's been run down. There's been cited lack of service delivery, there's lack of order, and we have now a very unsafe city. People are dying of cholera. As we all know, in this beautiful city. There is no order, and there's rampant corruption. As you know, as members of the press, we have a city council that spends more than it accumulates. We have a city council that is irresponsible with ratepayers' money. We have a ballooning debt crisis. Now, last count, over $800 million in debt that is uncollectible. And why is it uncollectible? Because the city does not function. The city is not working. This is why we have organized ourselves. This is why we have come together as a coalition of independent candidates, of independent councillors, focused on the city of Harare's service delivery and nothing more. Part of the problem that Zimbabwe has had is that we have politicized the issue of council, local authorities, has been politicized, over-politicized. Instead of people focusing on providing essential services, people are throwing stones at each other in city council. And the result is that the resident is worse off. The citizen is worse off. A lot of us here are novices in politics. In fact, we're young, and this is why we dare to dream. We have assembled and we've come together today to bring in the next hope of the city, the next bunch of candidates, the next bunch of independent councillors that hope to push the mandate forward. My name is Henry Mnangatire. I'm running for Ward 8. And assembled behind me are existing and new POVO candidates. And today, we just want to talk a bit about what we're about. I'm sure you've heard about POVO, but our main thrust, as we've mentioned, is we're about creating a new city. We're about modernizing the city. We're about bringing competent, engaging leadership into City of Harare. So please help me today to introduce our new candidates. As I introduce them, I will start by saying that the call of Harare right now is to bring in something new, is to bring in hope for the city, is to bring in a better and brighter future. And today, as we come, we want to welcome you all to engage us, ask us questions, and also realize that what we're doing is new, but it's engaging and innovative. So on that note, I'm going to hand over to my fellow panelists, Dudu Lenyirongo on my right-hand side, and Marshall Shenyor, and Dudu give us a solidarity speech.
Thank you. My name is Dudu Lenyirongo, and I'm running for Harare Ward 7 as an independent candidate. under the banner of POVO, a coalition of independents. Ever since the launch of POVO in March, the journey has been exciting. We have received an overwhelming response, and our coalition has been the talk of the town, with some gladly receiving us and others trying to figure out what we are, and some saying we're a party which is not a party. In all of this, the most important thing has been meeting the electorate and explaining the vision that we have for the city of Harare. It has been a journey of relationship building with the communities and getting to hear the issues, ideas, and also learning from them. As a pastor personally, my evangelism skills have also improved, and I've been able to sell the gospel of making Harare shine again to thousands of people. I've had to make a lot of sacrifices because running for public office is a greater calling. It is now the time for genuine people that love their communities to give back and serve. It's now time for us to bring in fresh ideas and a new way of thinking in the way things are done in this country, particularly the city of Harare. It is now time to have leaders that champion the cause of the people and not the cause of their political parties. It is now time to have leaders in our local authorities that are honest, hardworking, committed, and allergic to corruption. Gone are the days when we'll just sit back and watch and let people destroy our country and let people destroy our institutions. It is the people's time. To the local government candidates joining us today, I say welcome to the family of independent candidates. You are here to represent the people, people first before politics. Enjoy it and have fun, and above all, learn. Passion and love for our community should be our driver. Do not fear and do not be intimidated. Just focus on why you decided to enter into this race. The dream of servant leadership that can transform Harare into a world-class city. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy, for those words. I will now hand over to Marshall.
Thank you, Henry. Thank you. My name is Marshall Shonai. I'm running for Ward 25 in Highfield for council. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the press, for joining us today. And I would want to say to our fellow comrades, the new members who are joining us as independent candidates of POVO, say welcome to the family. I just want to say a few things as we carry on with this presser. Number one, the last mayor of Harare, Much Masunda, and the current mayor, Ben Manyanyen, have basically bemoaned the quality of councillors in council. They are on record saying we have a lot of councillors who are not competent to be in those positions. And for us, as Henry said, we are ordinary citizens. We are novices in politics. As ordinary citizens, we are responding to that call. We are stepping up. As citizens, we are taking responsibility. We all know the state of our city, the state of affairs in our city. We cannot carry on this way. Number two, politics. We need to politicize council. I think both the ruling party and the opposition, they are responsible for Harare in the manner it is today. ZANU-PF is they have the power, and they have the Minister of Local Government, and MDC as they are basically running council. Mashona vanoti panorwa nzo uskwando unotsokodzerwa. And we have a political fight that's going on between the MDC and ZANU-PF, and Harare is paying the price. If you talk to MDC, they'll say ZANU-PF minister is blocking this and that. So we as residents of Harare, as people who love Harare, we are stepping up and saying, okay, let's depoliticize council. There should be no politics happening in council. Let's just run council. Bins should be collected as they should be. You know, we should have clean water. That has nothing to do with politics. By standing as independent candidates, we are giving Harare residents an option. We know that most of our people look at politics in two colors. mostly ZANU-PF and MDC, but we are availing ourselves and saying let there be an option for the residents of Harare. When we launched initially, we pledged that we were going to run in all 46 wards in Harare. As you see today, we do not number 46. I want to throw a challenge to those that are complaining about the state of affairs in Harare, that it is your duty, besides spending time complaining on social media, you have a mandate to contribute to the well-being of this city, and also to female candidates. As you can see, we have very few candidates that have stepped up as independent candidates, as women. I'm challenging the ladies. You also have a role to play. As we are doing this, we are introducing a new political culture. Let's have a politics of ideas, not politics of fighting each other, of backbiting each other. So as POVO, People's Own Voice, we are saying we are here. Send us. Harare, you have an option. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marshall. On that note, I will introduce the new candidates, but I'll pose a question to you, the journalists, is when was something new introduced in Harare? And whilst you ponder on that, I'll start to introduce our new candidates. New candidates, when I announce you can just come forward a little bit and just say 1 minute about yourself, what ward you're running, and what you're about. The first is Simbarashe Owen Takawira, running in Ward 31, Glenview.
Hello everyone, my name is Simbarashe Owen Takawira. I'm running for Glenview Ward 31. I've decided to run for Ward 31 because that's where I grew up, that's where I stay, and that's the ward that I know. I've seen for the past 10 or so years things deteriorating in that ward. We've been complaining on social media, but I've discovered that it's not enough to complain on social media. We need to tackle the bull by its horns. So that's why I decided to join the corridors of power, so that when the debates are done concerning my ward, I should be there representing people in Ward 31. And we have decided as people in Ward 31 that we are tired of being led by people we don't know, people who just come after 5 years when they want our vote. We want someone who stays in Ward 31, someone who has got a relationship with people in Ward 31. So I've decided to stand up for my people. Thank you.
Simbarashe Munewan, as you can hear. The next is Mishek Augusto Joao, standing in Ward 20, Tafara.
Hello everyone, my name is Mishek Augusto Joao. I come from Ward 20 in Tafara. I grew up there, now I'm getting old, I'm there. There's no water. There are wells everywhere. The water we drink is from the well, and 500 meters, there's a sewage, open ponds of sewage. So basically the water table is actually full of sewage. That's what I can say. So now we're saying this is the time. Now this young generation, we are the age that bridges between these young guys and the old ones. Now if we get old leaving these guys in this kind of situation, I think it will be a bad thing. So I'm saying I'm standing for Tafara Ward to make a change for my fellow guys in Tafara. So I think that's...
Thank you very much, Mishek. Next is Nigel Kudzianike, Ward 20, Glenora.
Okay. Hello, my name is Nigel Kudzianike, and I'm a resident of the city of Harare in Ward 27, Glenora, as we've just had. I've decided to take part in the radical transformation of the city of Harare into becoming a world-class city. It was not enough for me to just sit back and complain while everything is just deteriorating in our society. So I've just decided to take part and bring about the reliable solutions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nigel. Next is Adrian Magombedze, Ward 2, Harare Central.
Sorry, he's on his way.
He's on his way. I beg your pardon. Next is Christopher Jairo, Ward 35 in Fakos.
Hello everyone, my name is Christopher Jairo. I was born in Fakose about 40 something years ago. My mother has a house in Mfakose, I have a house in Mfakose, I live in Mfakose. We've witnessed deterioration in the services being provided by the council to the residents of Mfakose, and I felt the urge to run for council so that I can save the people of Mfakose. I've seen the youth of Mfakose going on drugs, Msomboti and stuff, and I believe service at the grassroots, which is the council, the local authority, if the services are provided, if we create jobs within the environment of Mfakose, we'll be able to save the youth from drugs and crime in Mfakose. That's why I'm running for council in Mfakose. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next is Matizira Diza, Ward 37 Kwadza.
Hello everyone. The guy tauri nechishona chetinonyatsouzwa tese. Ini ndinonzi Matizira Diza. Ward 37 Kwadza East. Ndikuti sabhuku ngaagare muraini rake rather than kumirira sabhuku anobva kune imwe nzvimbo achiya kuita sabhuku kumaraini kwedu. Isusu tiri kuti marara ezvine zvaaita tose tiri kuziva kuti marara zvaaita kwetinogara hazvichakomboreri, marara azara everywhere. Iye zvinezvi vana navarume vakuru navakadzi vakuru takutopemberera tikaona mota yemarara ichiuya kwetinogara kunge tisina kuzvibhadhara. Kudhara taiti mapotholes, handichazivi kuti achiri mapotholes here. I'm sure handifungi kuti achanzi mapotholes kwese kwetinogara. Kudhara taiti vemotikari ndogava chachema nenyaya yesuspension. Iye zvinezvi kwetinogara kuward 37 ukafamba usiku kana wakadhakwa unoguma wakuchipatara kumbowaniswa plasta. Saka tiri kuti anyway ndonguva ino, let's vote wisely.
Amen to that. I think those are the new candidates we have, and they've given us a very passionate appeal for why Harare needs change, a very passionate appeal for why we need something new in our city. People are even getting hurt from drunken walking, as he said. So please be careful out there. Don't drink and walk. The potholes are too big. Whilst on that tip, let me reintroduce some of our candidates if you haven't had the chance to meet them. We've got some firecrackers of candidates, some really passionate young people who are doing a fantastic job in the wards, engaging people and showing people that a better Harare is possible. I'll start with Tinashe Kufa from Ward 30, Glenview. Please give us a little bit about yourself and what you're about.
Okay, good morning everyone. My name is Tinashe Prosper Kufa, representing Ward 30, Glenview North. And I decided to run for council in my ward because I have decided that instead of just complaining, I should be part of the solution for the people in my ward, because I myself has been also a victim of the lack of service delivery in my ward. For example, we don't have water running out of our taps for a long time. We don't have our garbage being collected for quite a long time. So for me to just complain, it wasn't enough. So I decided to be part of the solution in my ward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tinashe. Next is Nyasha Grace Magumise, Ward 16, Mawarire.
Hello. My name is Nyasha Grace Magumise, and I'm running in Ward 16, which is Mawarire and many other neighborhoods under Mawarire. What made me run for council is the lack of water. I reside in Sentosa, and other areas in my ward all have water, but because Sentosa is on a hill, we struggle to get water. And having to witness an old man at Mawarire, the Methodist Church in Sherwood, take 10 trips with a bucket of water on his head, an old man as old as my grandfather, it really touched me, because I think Vanasekuru from Maruseva to come to town so that they have an easy way of life. But if in Harare, this man to fend for his family has to do 10 trips, never get Msoro. That's what motivated me to run for council. So far, I've been encouraged by the number of residents in my ward that have joined me in my campaign, and I am encouraged that we all want to make our neighborhood better. So let's vote wisely as well, because it's all about the service delivery and delivering that. Thank you.
Thank you, Nyasha. As she spoke about the issue of water, you have to think about the gender ramifications of vasikana nemadzimai vachimuka makuseni kumichira mvura. What are our politicians doing about that? Next, I'll introduce to my left Marshall Shonai, running for Ward 25 Highfields, to just talk a bit about his vision for Highfields and what he's doing there.
All right. For me, for Fio, Machipisa, one of the most shocking discoveries I made with Highfield, particularly with Machipisa. Machipisa is a business hub. Machipisa is one of the oldest shopping centers in our country. But to date, like currently, right now, Machipisa does not have a functional public toilet. With Machipisa, you get people coming in from Zambia, from South Africa, buses come in and rank there. Like Mbare, you have people coming in into Highfield to work there. You have thousands of people each morning coming into Highfield to sell their wares, but there's no public toilet that is there. The only functional facility in Machipisa has been taken over by ZANU-PF youths. They've cleaned it up and they charge 50 cents for you to use that facility. There are about 4 public toilets in Machipisa. 3 of them are not functional. One is actually being leased to a private individual. And I'm saying, really, we cannot have anything like that going on. That is a health hazard. It's a health time bomb. So I'm pledging that if I'm elected into council, we need to fix that problem. And then, of course, we've got Gwanzura Stadium. He hasn't seen Premier League soccer in I don't know how many years. You know, if you go inside Gwanzura Stadium today, you'll be shocked. They've actually Vakarima ground. There's nothing going on there. The place is in a state of dilapidation. And refuse collection, obviously, for me, I'm pledging that we need to have a ward-based refuse truck. So if I get into council, we'll source our own funds and get a rubbish collection truck for Ward 25 in Highfield. We mean business about council. We mean business about service delivery. Thank you very much.
Amen to that. Now, let me have a special introduction to the youngest candidate amongst us. And I say special because in our current political climate and in our country, it is admirable to see a young lady at 21 deciding that she is going to step up and take the mantle of leadership. And I don't say those words lightly. So I would like to introduce to you a special young lady by the name of Esther Bongai Zumuti, running for Ward 22 Hatfield.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Esther Bongai Zumuti, and I'm running for Hatfield, Ward 22, which encompasses of Masasa Park, Hatfield, and Chatcombe. I believe in social democracy, and I also believe that as residents, we should be getting value for their money. And I decided to run for council because I, being a young person, I got tired of always carrying the burden of poor service delivery that council was bestowing upon us. I'm the one who, me being the youngest in our family, didn't know at 4 a.m. Didn't know careful by 5 I should be at home. Yet I've got school, I need to study my libraries. And you know, all of that, it contributed to me deciding to run. Because council, over the past 2 decades, or over, I don't know when, maybe before I was even born, council has been providing bad services. So for me, I started saying, what? I don't want to keep on talking about this. Guys, each and every day. So I decided to be the change that I wanted to see. And I decided to join these wonderful technocrats to be part of the change that we want to see in Harare. And in terms of Hatfield, I have got a plan. So if you're a Hatfield resident and if you reside in my ward, please vote for me. Very soon I'll be posting my manifesto, which is based on Hatfield, on my various social media handles. Thank you.
You know the city is a disaster when you have a generation that doesn't know put in front of them table. That's when you know it's a disaster. And Esther is one of those people who, like I said earlier, the burden of Takura Mvura goes to the girl child. That in this day and age is unacceptable. What time is she supposed to study? How is she supposed to get to school and read books? Let me introduce on my right hand side Duduzile Nyirongo, running for Ward 7 Avondale.
Hello everyone, once again. I'm Dudu Nyirongo, running for council in Mawarire Ward 7, which encompasses Alexandra Park, Avondale, Avondale West, Strathaven, Belgravia, Kensington, Gun Hill, State House, KG6, and the depots, Morris Depot, Thomason Depot. I dream of a better community, one where there is service delivery. My vision is just to make Mawarire Ward 7 shine again. And like Esther said, the burden is not only on children. I'm a wife, I'm a mom, and I have to be the one that has to go and fetch the water as well. We've got a community borehole in Ward 7, yet it's supposed to be like a low density, a bush pump. In fact, totanga kuto pampa mvura, and I'm doing my MBA, and I have to get clean water to drink, clean water to cook, because my husband so most of those things right now, our refuse collection 3 weeks we're breeding rats, we're breeding germs, we're breeding all sorts of new creatures that we don't know because of that situation that we have. So those are the things that have pushed me, and I also want to give back to my community. I've seen that there's no financial management in our city councils, no operational efficiencies. So as someone who's got those capabilities and skills in finance and business and audit, I want to give back my skills to the community, and so that we can see a better Harare. Thank you.
Thank you, Dudu. Next, I'm going to introduce Saluzai Mulingisi, a mother, a pastor, and she's even, it takes a lot for, when you see people, a pregnant woman running for office and putting everything aside, personal danger aside, our city is a disaster. So please go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Henry. Thank you to all the journalists that are here. My name is Saluzai Mulingisi, and I'm running for Ward 41, which is Mawarire. It covers Emerald Hill, Good Hope, West 8, Bluff Hill, Tinwood North, New 8 Lane, and Avonlea. I'm very excited to take up the challenge to run for council. Why? I love the fact that I can give my children hope. Now they know that I'm running for council, and every day, it's something that inspires hope in them. Because when they ask me, "Mommy, why are you doing this? Why are you campaigning?" I tell them, I want you to have better service delivery, because they know that they can't use city council water. It's an absolute no-no, because when they do that, it's me that stays up at night with kids that have running stomachs. So I'm a resident, I'm somebody who was sitting along the sidelines all along, hoping things would change, but they didn't. So I've stepped forward to run, and ever since we've launched as People's Own Voice, the support has been tremendous. As we speak to the electorate, people are excited to have another option to vote into council. I think one of the things that I've been saying since I started my campaign is that city council elections were never part of the harmonized elections. It's something that came recently. Council elections were always run by themselves. Why? Because council is not politics. Council is just about identifying community leaders, people that are resident within the communities, who emerge as leaders to champion the causes of those communities. So now we have them as political elections simply because they are now part of the harmonized elections. So for me, I'm very excited, I'm very passionate about seeing my ward rise to the challenges that we have so far, and I'm offering myself as a servant leader, and the people that I have spoken to in my ward ever since we've launched know that I'm determined. I want to answer the gap that is between council and residents. So vote for me, because when you vote for me, you're actually voting for yourself.
Amen. Next, Sam Mike Mtongerwa from Greendale, Ward 9.
I'm saving the best for last.
Yes.
Thank you. Good. Still morning. members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sam Mike Mutongerwa. I'm running for Harare Ward 9, which is made up of Greendale, Masasa, Chikurubi, Manresa. My reason for running for council is because I looked at my life and I said, we have problems. Articulating a problem is not good enough. What is important is to come up with practical solutions to the problems that emanate from our daily lives. And what is that problem? All of us here made a conscious decision to come and reside in Harare, which is an urban city, which is slowly being turned into a village. By a simple fundamental, we have people that are supposed to be representing us who are clueless about what they're supposed to do. Should we blame them? No. We voted for these people. What were we voting for? Are we aware of the value of our vote? When I'm asking you to vote for me as councillor, do you understand what that means? What job am I supposed to do as a councillor? Most of us are not even aware because we've been politicizing local government. We've been voting for parties. Mr. X belongs to part Y. I like part Y, so I put my X there. They go into council. They have no idea what they are supposed to do. If we are elected into council, what is it that we are going to do different? We are going to do everything different because we understand what it is that has to be done. We have the problem of water, the problem of garbage, the problem of street lighting, the problem of our roads, our environment. How do we solve that? By going back to the basics. How do you run a city? You run a city by providing services to urban residents, and that creates jobs. You do not create a director's job so that he can offer a service, which is why we are now in a predicament whereby 90% of the revenue collected in the city of Harare goes to salaries. Then we try to figure out how do we fix roads, how do we purify water, where do we buy garbage trucks. It's because we've created jobs first. Now we are trying to figure out how to give people a service. And that is very, very wrong. What we need is identifying competent people with the right know-how of how to manage an entity like City of Harare. If we collect rates from every city resident, and if we all pay our water bills, the total collectibles, the total receivable is equivalent to 15 small cabinets in our government right now. That's how big the budget of City of Harare is. And just picking someone because they belong to a certain party is not good enough. Let's not waste our vote. Let us identify the right people to bring us the right results so that we live the urban life that we all deserve. And it starts by voting for Sam Mike Mutongerwa and all these powerful candidates so that we can win and Harare can shine again. Yeah. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
I almost forgot to talk about what ward I'm running for. Introducing everybody else. I'm running for Highlands, which encompasses part of Eastleigh, my neighbor, to do part of Gun Hill. Highlands, of course, Newlands, CPT, Valentine Park, and the Grange. I think everything has been mentioned about the disaster in our city, and I can't mention anything more. But what I can tell you is that when you members of the press wrote an article about the city of Harare soccer team getting $6 million a year, $7 million a year. I lost my mind. I was like, why are we paying $6 million out of ratepayers' budgets Kunetimia born. Our money. I mean, if you're paying $6 million, they should be playing against Real Madrid.
Right.
But instead, they're losing. And these people are going to, councillors are going to Mauritius on that budget. One of many issues. Then you hear like what Mike spoke about, because you've got people who are, directors getting paid 15, when they're there, 15,000, in fact, I would venture to say that City of Harare, once we get into council, we're going to uncover the biggest corruption scam in the history of this country. If people thought $15 billion was something, that is nothing compared to the rot in City Council. We need to remove the rot. So I think on my end, really, it's service delivery, it's issues of order, issues of safety, issues of corruption, and the fact that most councillors are absent from their job, which we intend to be present. So on that note, I'll also mention that we have a couple of candidates in absentia. Trust Mgari, Ward 45 Kwadzana, as well as Pastor Ivan Mawarire, who's away. He sends his greetings, and he is running in Ward 17 in Mount Pleasant. But whilst we're on that note, I also want to introduce another candidate who just came in. As I said, POVO we are professional people, so we're not going to look for jobs in council, so people have to come from work, which is encouraging. Before we had people with no jobs going to council, and we're going to change that. Adrian Magombedze, who's running in Ward 2 in Harare Central. So Adrian, we're just going to let you, I know you've just come in, just say a minute about yourself, a quick introduction to the press, and what you're running about.
Okay. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, how are you? I'm Adrian Magombedze. I'll be running in Ward 2, which is Harare Central. My area includes parts of Eastleigh, North and East, Arcadia, Braeside, St. Martin's, and Cremon. Basically, my thrust is mostly about the basic rights of a citizen in my area, which are clean water, electricity, roads, recreational facilities, and the basic challenges that we are facing right now. We don't have good service delivery in my area, and that is what I'm all about, really.
Thank you very much. On that note, I will invite members of the press to ask questions, if you have any. Yes.
Initially, you mentioned that you were targeting
46.
46, sorry.
Yes.
46 to be contesting under the banner. How many are you to date? And maybe the gender dynamics, how many are women and how many are men?
Currently, we're 16. We're targeting 46, obviously. One of the things we believe is we want to bring competent leadership, so it's not a rush to just fill in seats. We're very deliberate about everything, and we're happy with the people that we feel can represent Harare's interests. And women, of course, are a big part of it. Like we said, a lot of the issues in the city of Harare are gender-based issues that affect women. So this is by no means trying to have a male-dominated organization. As you can see, we're very well represented with women, and there are more to come. Yes.
Takumane Islam Media. You are talking of competence, right?
Yes.
Yes. What yardstick are you using, all you POVO members, to sell yourselves to the electorate that you are competent?
Well, I think, like we said, and I'll invite my fellow panelists to answer other questions, so please feel free to ask anybody else questions. Like we said, firstly, we are all about ensuring that there is a minimum criteria that one needs to qualify to be a councillor. Council is a very complex job. It's a $500 million budget. It is a finance committee that sits down and deliberates budgets. It is pointless to have people who don't understand the budget in council. Like right now in the city council, there is not one accountant or anybody with a financial qualification on this finance committee. So amongst us, we have chartered accountants like Dudu. We have people in business. We have people with business background. We have business owners. We have people who are in education. We have actually made a deliberate effort to bring that forward. So as part of that, we understand that one must at least have the basic requirement of education one requires to get a job in Zimbabwe, which is 5 O-levels. As we all know, you can't get a job anywhere without 5 O-levels. So why should you be a councillor without 5 O-levels? I think this is where our political parties have gone wrong. They've tried to pick people who shout the most, but no service delivery.
How do you answer someone who says the problem of Harare is not about the councillors, it's about the management, because they are the ones who are actually running the things?
Okay. I think we should not say there's a particular problem that is evolving in Harare at the moment. It's multifaceted. And for me personally, and I think for all of us, we should really notice and see that the problem in Harare at the moment is politics. Okay? We do have councillors that come in from a particular political party, and then you have a town clerk or directors or managers who are coming in from another political party, you know, and then you have a minister that is coming in from another political party. So you have people working against each other. People are not working with each other for Harare. And that is where I'd commented and say we need to first depoliticize, you know.
How do you do that? Because you are not going to change the management there. You are going to work with those people. And if they are getting directives from somewhere, you don't have power to change that. How are you going to do it yourself?
If I can answer that.
As you can see, we've got the answers. You know what? On that question, I think let people chime in as they go in.
Yeah.
We've all got
something to say about it.
What I would contribute to that question is that the city council, the council, you know, when you look at how it's structured, you can think of it like a proper, even private company. You have a board of directors which has to work with the management, and the councillors are your board of directors, and board of directors sets policy. And once policy has been put in place, it is the mandate for the management to take policy from the board of directors and run with it. So the councillors are actually there to oversee if the policies that they've put in place are being adhered to by management, which is where it becomes very, very important for people that are in council to understand their role and to also understand the power that they hold according to the Urban Councils Act. Because there is power that council has over management. It may not be to fire and hire, or, you know, there are some positions that are obviously not for council to hire and fire, but someone like the town clerk has to sit in council meetings and has to answer to committees within council. He has to come into committee meetings and answer for each and everything that he does. So if you have a council that is engaged with the management, that is watching every move that that management is making, they can be able to ask the necessary questions. Bring the town councillor into a committee meeting, sit him down, ask him the necessary questions as to why certain things are being done and why certain things are not being done as according to policy.
That is not in Zimbabwe.
No.
For example, in Harare, Mayor Manyenyeni tried so many times just to get a salary schedule for City Harare, but they were refusing to give him.
Let me answer that.
Keep on probing.
The list of salaries, you have to understand that we have been working with a government that was anti-council because of the polarization of politics, where we have a minister of local government who is an arch-enemy of the city fathers. So there was no resonance there. But having said that, council is made up of different committees. The Human Resources Committee is there to do performance appraisals. And when it comes to hiring of directors and positions above that, they shortlist and then they hand over to the respective arm that does the actual employment. But the City Council, they shortlist the directors' positions going up. So we are able, as if we are elected into power, to do the performance appraisal, to identify key performance indicators, to say so and so is not performing as per requirements. We pass resolutions and that person can be fired. It's as simple as that. That's where the competence issue now comes in. The current sitting councillors, are they even aware of their responsibilities, what they are capable of doing? So they've just been sitting there doing whatever, I don't know, and the system is rotting, but the Urban Councils Act empowers council to do a lot that has not been done because they have not been reading it.
Listen.
My name is Lucy Yasin. I'm a freelance journalist. First of all, I've heard it thrice that do councillors know what their role is? Are you guys aware of what you're supposed to be doing once you're in council? Number two, the perception out there is that when people come out in the open and say, vote for me, be it as councillor or as MP, is that they are looking for employment. How do you change that perception amongst the communities?
Okay, thank you, Lucy. First of all, we understand what the role of the councillor is. And we've made it, that's why we also came together, so that we can also teach each other, learn from each other, and educate each other. Then councillor is supposed to be someone who is representing the community. He's the one who's in between. There's the residents and then there's the council. And he is the one who's in between. A councillor is supposed to be engaging with residents on a number of issues, a number of matters, right? A councillor is supposed to be identifying interest groups and different sectors in that community and getting feedback from them, and also taking issues to council, represent them in council, consult the residents on issues to do with the budget and things like that. A councillor is the one who's supposed to be the social entrepreneur of a community. A councillor is the one who sets policies. As councillors, we're supposed to be setting policies when we go and sit in those meetings. That's what we're supposed to be doing, and making meaningful contributions in the different committees that are there. Like, for example, myself, I want to be in the Finance and Development Committee and also in the Audit Committee. Finance Committee looks at issues to do with financial management. The Audit Committee is to do with the external and internal audits and internal controls that are in the city of Harare. So there's a lot to talk about with regards to the role of the councillor. But a councillor is supposed to be a representative that is engaging, that sets policies that are good for the city of Harare. And then with regards to the issue of the misconception that people think people go into council for money, there is no money as a councillor. There is no money. The money that those people are getting is through corruption. That you see that they allocate themselves tenders, they allocate themselves stands. That's what has been happening, working in cause, of course, with the employees of the city of Harare. Whatever you're seeing from there, it's not financial gains from being a councillor. In fact, I have said that I'm not going to be touching any allowance that is going to be coming from the city of Harare, because I've come here to serve. We're supposed to be city fathers and mothers who are supposed to be serving wholeheartedly. There is no financial gain that is supposed to be coming from being a councillor.
Just to add there, and to put it on record, and I've said it in other forums, if I'm elected to be councillor for Ward 25, Highfield East, Harare, I will not touch those allowances for 2 whole years. I'll give them back to the community. That is my pledge. I run my own events company. I feed my family. I'm not here to look for employment. I'm here to provide a service. And I'm putting up you as the media to hold me to account if I get into office.
But after those 2 years, you touch the allowances.
Well, they are by right supposed to be given to the council because you're offering a service. But I'm saying I'll forgo them just to show that I'm not interested in making money. I'm not there to make money, per se. Because it's not money that
not
you
even
get.
much.
Not much. How much do councillors get paid for a sitting?
It's supposed to be just a sitting allowance.
Yeah.
It's like your
a director.
Yeah, it's just, maybe you've used your fuel to come to townhouse. It's just a sitting allowance. And whatever other benefits that the city councillors are taking from the councillors are taking from the city currently, they're obviously not in the Urban Councils Act. Because in the Urban Councils Act, it's just an allowance. It's a
sitting allowance.
And the job that you sit a meeting once a month, unless you're in a committee. So if people are saying people are going into council to look for jobs, it's incorrect, because it's just 1 day in a month if you're just a regular councillor. But if you've been elected into committees, it goes beyond at council. So it's not a job.
It's not
people are not going there to look for a job.
We have jobs. Just to
in fact, what is supposed to be happening is anenge asina mota paanopedza meeting late ngaende ngapiwe mari yebhazi $2 yake ekombi kuti zvikwanira. I think that's where we're supposed to be getting to. Anenge aisawo fuel yakapiwa adirirwe fuel because that's how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to be just getting an allowance yekuti wauya kumeeting waita basa saka wafamba sei kuti usvike kumeeting kunoko. So those things were things that we should change now. People think that politics, not only council, even MPs, they think that it's a job where you get a salary and people are going in there. That misconception has to change. In fact, in Africa, the whole of Africa, it's not a career. I think we're so much used to having career politicians, and that's the mindset that we've had. And when they do get into that council position, and when they do get into that MP position, they become disappointed, and that's when they become corrupt.
Yeah, sir.
Yeah, I've got two questions. The first one has to do with your issue to do with publicity. After you guys launched, I think we didn't, see much on the ground. Probably, a few you were visible, but I'm saying collectively or even as individuals, do you have a publicity, roadmap that you've created, especially now that the date of elections has been announced? Then the second one, which comes from where I come from, because I am coming from a sports background journalist perspective. Yeah. So sometimes I get nervous when, for example, what you talked about, the city of Harare having a national, a soccer team. Yeah. For me, I don't see anything wrong with that. But the only problem is how the councillors managed to try and fleece the council money using the vehicle called football. So coming to iFood, I think last year I managed to go to iFood to see the state of iFood. Yeah. So if we get this mindset of not taking football seriously, then we might end up not developing sporting amenities. Because if you go to, I grew up in Mawarire Park, we used to have one stadium that was Jura World, then one where everybody had access to. But now you go there, Panama is and then you go to Kambusuma. So my question is, as councillors who want to get in office, have you looked at those things, especially you look at why sporting amenities are set up in the local areas? Are you looking at those things? Because if you go to Tumbiza, you can't get all the areas that are supposed to be for sports, for houses. So I'm saying, do you have like a blueprint for those that love sport? Because I'm saying some of your electorate are sport fanatics.
Okay. Let me answer that quickly. Firstly, I'm a sports fanatic. I've played a lot of sport in my life and I love sports. And I think when I talk about City of Harare soccer team, I was not saying it should be wiped out of existence. I was simply saying that as a city that cannot collect refuse and cannot provide clean running water, we cannot afford to spend $6 million on soccer teams. It's not a priority. But what we can do is, instead of spending $6 million on soccer team, let's put money into our parks, into our sporting facilities, and make them world class so that everybody can play soccer. It shouldn't be a team of 22 people getting $6 million. That's unfair. Right now, like in my ward, in Ward 8, we've got parks, nice parks, which have got overgrown trees for 20 years. Nobody's even, you can't even, but if you walk in the middle, you see park benches. So that's what we want to restore. We want to restore functional public spaces, public amenities that work for everybody. The current situation, you cannot have a soccer team getting paid, it's out of the budget. And we're talking and saying with this council, out of $12 million collected, 10 million goes to salaries. 2 million per month, that's when they figure out, okay, Twitter say, my bin, my road, chi. What we must go back to the drawing board is look at our priorities and our budget. It's just like a home. And then you spend half your money buying pizza. You can't do that. It's not a priority for us. And the second one, I think
on publicity. On publicity. Yeah. I agree with you that we have not been visible, per se. But going forward, now that we have a date for elections, we're going to be very visible. We're going to be making a lot of noise. We do have a manifesto that we have. We do have a plan for local authority. In light of what you've brought up in terms of sporting facilities, in particular football, I'm an avid football lover myself, and if you look today at the state of Rufaro Stadium, right? Forget about Gwanzura Stadium. Forget about, okay, we're not going to talk about Chibugu Stadium in Chitumbiza because that is out of our jurisdiction. You mentioned about that particular ground. I remember in Glenview there was Chemanza, Kumbare Gune number 7, Gune number 5, Gune number 2. You know, those were places where talent was nurtured. So as POVO, we do have a plan for city libraries, for parks, like what is mentioned, for sporting facilities, not just football stadiums. We have a lot of facilities that are lying idle in this city, and we do have, and we'll make that available, our plan. Sometimes also in learning this game, we just don't rush out and say, this is what I'm going to do. You don't say it all, because we do have other political parties and players. We actually do have people who have copied word for word, you know, our manifesto in their launches as well. So now that everyone has really come out and said, this is what we want to do. We are the new babies, we are the newcomers. Now we'll tell you what we want to do, as far as our city is concerned. And we're not promising magic or anything out of this world. It's the basics, returning to the basics. Yeah. That's what we're all about. And we'll be communicating that.
Yeah. And, and in addition to your question, the first one on publicity, about visibility, first of all, we have to understand that we're independent candidates. Yeah. And people have been doing whatever they were doing independently. Maybe because I'm very active on social media, so you have been seeing what I've been doing. But because we're independent candidates, people just have been doing whatever they've been doing. And then if people want me to come in solidarity with them in their campaign, that's why we're a coalition of, we're a family, I can go. And for example, I'm going to be working very hand in hand with Ivan because we're in the same constituency. He's 17, we're next to each other, we're in the same constituency. So we'll be definitely giving each other solidarity during our campaigns. Going to have solidarity with Esther very soon. I think you'll see it on the social media. Yeah, so people should understand that we're independent.
Because my question was primarily premised on the fact that what you guys are doing, it's sort of a game changer. If one independent candidate from the 46 that you're earmarking, if only one is successful, then people continue to say independent candidates when the mainstream political parties have failed the seat of Harare. So my point was, are you guys trying to push up so that you
come through as a collective,
in mass?
Okay. I just wanted to add on how you're talking about soccer, and she was saying priorities. I'm in education. I teach at Arundel School, and I'm passionate about educating young lives. I went to the library in my ward, Mawarire, and it was devastating, sad, actually, because I walked in and just looking at the sections, there are no books. Probably the whole library has about 30% capacity of books, and so it is important to have soccer and have the teams and everything, but also there are certain things I think as we get into council, we need to prioritize, because for me, I was heartbroken, and I was like, how can this be the library for Mawarire? Mawarire is huge, very huge. So, yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to find out that considering the number that you guys are currently, how then, maybe say in the event that you all make it into office, you're still short of, constituting the majority vote. How then are you going to change policy, considering the number that you guys will be? And then my second question is, you are a coalition of independent candidates. Somebody just wanted to know, which presidential candidate are you? Are you also endorsing an independent president? What's happening with you guys?
Let me start by answering the second question. And I'm making everyone very nervous right now. I think that's when we say your vote is your secret. Our advocacy, we've made it very, very public and open that we are running for city council. When it comes to which MP serves my constituents best, which president serves my country best,
I think that will still remain a confidential vote right now. We cannot come out as a coalition to say we are standing behind this president. Remember, we are independent. So he's got this independent vote, I've got mine. So I think that will best answer your question.
And if I can add to that, what we're about is, number one, we're about the good of the country. That's number one. Number two, we're about saying to people, service delivery and local government. We provide services to ZANU-PF supporters, MDC supporters. You know, so if I'm now going to go and say, no, I'm behind this person, that defeats the purpose of why I'm running. The whole idea of what I'm running is to depoliticize what we're about. In my constituency, I house ministers, children of presidents. They all need running water and roads. I don't discriminate. All of them are my voters. People who are supporting me, ZANU-PF and MDC, and I love them equally. My job is to provide service, and that's why I'm running.
Yeah, and I wanted to say that I'm an independent candidate representing different people with diverse people. There are diverse people in my community. All they want is basic service delivery. And I've got people from different political parties that are supporting me. I've got people who vote for ED as their president and vote for me as councillor. I've got people who vote for Chamisa as their president and vote for me as councillor. And as an independent candidate, you cannot endorse a specific presidential candidate because you are representing the people and you're being for the people and you're saying people first before politics.
And in a way, I'll come to the first question. In a way, our hands are tied as people have sort of come together. But in an event that I come out and say Biza or Chinja, or Pfe, that does not mean the whole of POVO is endorsing a particular. That would be my particular, choice as an individual if I decide to do that. Coming to the first question about numbers, our desire is to get to 46. Okay, and it's proving a challenge in a way that people are not open to, say, okay, fine, let me jump in, let me run. Of course, people are excited. You get a lot of inquiries. How can I be a member? But when people realize the sacrifice and what they have to put in, and our politics has been polarized, and a lot of people think you'll be hounded, you'll be beaten up, you'll be threatened, and stuff. And so people are not ready to jump into politics. But as it is, we are still going to carry ahead. If the 16 of us are to go in there, personally for me, I'm an activist. Activism is what is going to happen in that place. Even if we are outnumbered, we'll make noise. If things are not happening, we'll come back to the public. Hey, this is what they're doing. This is what they must be doing. And let the people then decide. We'll cause noise. We'll raise hell in that place.
Just to add to that, if you've seen the EFF, the EFF has 6% of South Africa, 50% of Parliament. But look at the noise. But they set the agenda of South Africa. It doesn't matter if we're 16, we already set the agenda for Harare. On top of that, council requires a quorum of 4 people to make a decision. It's all in the Urban Councils Act. The problem is that people don't.
I was going to add exactly what Henry is saying. 16 is actually a very big number, according to what is in the Urban Councils Act. A third can sit a meeting and make quorum. So we're actually like this year. This can be a council meeting, and also a third can set an agenda for a council meeting, according to the Urban Councils Act. So the 16 of us, if people vote us in, we are enough to make enough noise and to bring about some change. It'll be difficult, but it can be done. Titoli 16, we have powers.
Okay, I've got 2 questions. The first one is, you are leaders who want to lead by example. And council deals with the budget, which comes from the collection of rates. Are you all paid up?
100%.
Can you, if you are paid up, can you post on your POVO page your paid up rates to show the community that you are representing, that you are law-abiding citizens who want to talk about the budget for football, of which there is something that you have contributed to the budget of football, rather than discussing the budget that other people have contributed, when you yourselves, you are nowhere to be seen on the accounting list.
Okay, thank you so much much for that question, but you know, the nomination court stipulates that you can never be accepted for nomination if you've got arrears to council. So for us standing, it is already an indication that, you know what, we are sorted, we are paying the residents to City of Mawarire.
You've been vetted.
Pardon?
You have been vetted.
We'll be vetted on what?
Well, the nomination court.
According to the electoral act.
No, we didn't go there. We didn't have that announcement. Yes. It's just coming out now. Oh. So we want to know because they are.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also, just to say, some of us to know Roger.
Okay, my second question. The electorate in Zimbabwe, as a nation, they are used to freebies. What are you giving the people who vote for you?
We're not because buying.
I haven't finished asking because the other major political parties that are there are giving people T-shirts and etc. What are you doing to convince the used, conditioned electorate for you to win their hearts to vote for you?
Okay. First and foremost, if we are going to change our country for the better, there is need, it's imperative that we have a paradigm shift. In my ward, Greendale, Masasa, Chikurubi, Mandara, everybody there can afford a t-shirt. That doesn't move them. I cannot stand before a homeowner who owns a $500,000 house and say, here's a t-shirt for you. That does not move them. I have to speak logic. I have to speak sense to them. By saying that, I'm not saying those who accept t-shirt are senseless people. No. I'm saying that what appeals to my constituents. What is
garden boys within your?
They are, but doesn't mean that garden boys do not have clothes to wear. What we want is to convince people to say, when I come before you asking for your vote, I would like you to vote for me because I'm giving you promises. I would like you to embrace me so that we can all exercise our civic duty and move our country. I do not have a t-shirt to give you, but I have the energy to do what is right.
And for me, just to add there,
you see, you mentioned that the major political parties have got stuff that they can give to people, right? Our city is in a mess, mostly because of people that we've put in offices because they gave us t-shirts and $2 notes. I saw somebody giving people $2 notes. Not to say it's wrong, it is campaign strategy, but listen, Harare is in a mess today because we have taken t-shirts from people and put them in offices. Yes. We need to offer more than t-shirts. Yeah. We need to offer service delivery. We need to give Harare, listen guys, it's the capital city of the country.
Follow up to that.
Okay,
what are you going to do?
You go on?
What are you going to do to encourage the non-paying ratepayers who owe council millions of dollars?
I'll answer that. Let me answer that. We're going to provide service. Service delivery precedes payment.
It encourages payment.
You have to create incentives. We've got a culture and a city council that's used to beating people into submission. You don't beat people into submission, provide the service. If you know that there's water coming into your tap every day, you're not going to pay. You'll pay because you don't lose the service. If you know that council provides good roads, you'll pay, you don't lose the service. If you know that every Thursday, you'll pay. So for us, it's about incentivizing things and not beating people into submission. This business of council going around, vendor, that needs to end. Incentivize people to do the right thing. Create order and safety and create service delivery, and people will be happy.
And also, just to say, for those that have debt, to get in a place where you don't charge interest on what they're owing. Because the more you continue charging interest on that, the bigger the debt, and they will definitely not pay. You know, we need to come to a place. You arrange payment plans with people, and somebody comes in honestly and they say, I want to make a payment plan. They're told, if you don't pay X amount, we're not going to accept that. You know, so sometimes what we do is self-defeating.
Sorry. Okay, I wanted to add on that, on the issue of debts and paying rates. For example, in my ward, 90 of the debt that is owed, 90% of it is only owed by a few people. The big guys who know who and know who and know who. And that's the same applies to the whole debt of the city council. The majority of the debt is owned by government institutions and connected people. But most of the majority of the people are paying their rates.
Sorry, can I ask this gentleman to speak?
Okay.
Esther.
On behalf of people, they are live right now.
And they're posting those questions.
Yes, they are posting those questions.
Right. Mataura nyaya yekuti muri kupei vanhu kuti vakuvhoterei. Inini ndiri kuti ndiri mwana wemumusha. Handiti abuda from, I've got a brother, I've got a sister, mumusha imomo, I've got a mother. Handitika. Saka ndingade kuti mai vangu ndivafadzere, ndivabribe kuti vandivhotere. Inini ndiri kuda kutoita basa rinoita kuti upenyu hwavo huve hwakanaka. So I'm saying kuti haisi nyaya yekuti tinopanana zvinhu, kana unazvo nomupa, asi kana usina, because social welfare haisi social welfare. Kana wada zvekupa vanhu chikafu nechi zvakanaka, that's a good thing kupa machembere. But are you going to do it every
consistently
day or every month? Cannot it's just election time, then after my elections, go see vanhu vai. So don't vote buying you.
Esther.
Okay, I wanted to comment on those that have not been paying and those who owe council money. Chapter 4, Section 77 of the Constitution says that every person has the right to a safe, clean, and potable water. And for me, this does not discriminate to those who pay rates or those who do not pay rates. So of late, we have been seeing walkish. To me, that is actually a violation of the constitutional right, because walkish yet we've got the constitution, which is the supreme lawmaking body of Zimbabwe, which is saying that everyone should be having access to water. So for us, there are certain things that we cannot temper around. Things like water, we cannot go around closing people's water. Yes, like what Henry said, we will try to create measures which are flexible enough. And I believe that people stopped paying council rates because, value for that money. So once we start giving people the correct services, then they'll come along and start paying their money.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Somebody here also wanted to know how you guys are going to stop the central government from interfering into council affairs.
I can't even answer you right now. We're going to handcuff ourselves to the door of the Minister of Local Government and not leave until he gives us our money. Literally, no, we have to fight. We have to fight.
If I can add to that.
Some of the council resolutions, the argument is some of the council resolutions, they are trampled upon like by the Supreme Office. Yes, that's my question. To say, you make a resolution as council and then the minister comes with something else and then they trample on whatever it is that you would have agreed through council. How are you going to
I think we can answer that. There are three ways that we can deal with that issue. First of all, there is lobbying. There are organizations that can lobby government on behalf of council. The Urban Councils Association, which has been in existence since 1923. It was there even during the time of Rhodesia. Their main purpose is to lobby for issues to do with local government. And then the second one is we can actually go the legal route. Esther has already quoted the Constitution. There is a lot of violation of legal issues with the way the minister deals with council. So if you have legal minds that are willing to partner with city council or the councillors to take the legal route, you may not win the cases, but it will definitely create the necessary noise concerning what the minister will be doing. And then lastly, like what Henry says, activism. If we're not lobbying, if we're not going the legal route, we will certainly take the activism route, where the city will have to know that there is one minister that is stopping the progress for this entire city. And the city needs to know that, and we will do it. We've got the energy, and we are willing to put up the time to do that activism. So it's either legal, lobbying, or activism.
On that,
when you are elected into power, you said you are going to unearth corruption, which is within the council, which is bigger than the 15 billion. Why are you not using the facilities that are there, like ZAC, which is already tackling corruption? If you don't get into power, what then will happen to the information that you have at hand concerning the corruption within the city council?
Well, firstly, I think the information we have is the same that you have. It's public knowledge. Right? Secondly, once we get into council and we actually go through an audit, we will unearth that corruption, and we're not just going to go to ZAC, we'll make it public to you guys. Thirdly, we'll also take legal action. You know, there's a thing called the administrative court, which deals with how the country is run. Yeah. And that is exactly the avenue and the constitutional court we use. On that note, I think we're out of time. And we'd like to thank you all for the great questions, robust discussion. Our details are available. Please engage us. We're available if you need to ask more questions. But we just have to give this room to other people.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for responding.
Sorry, for the members of the press, in response to the earlier press conference done by Jealousy, Ambrose Mutiniri is coming to make his battle. It's 2 o'clock.
Thank you.